So we've run Tabletop Game Expo 2019. It was fun, it was very good, it was successful in the sense that people got to know about it and it was run and the activities went well and the stage was amazing. There was not enough people. We did take a deficit in organizing this, as well as the exhibitors. They did not make money out of that. It was a deficit for them too. So we had to make a decision. Do we do this again? Do we continue forward? And the feedback we got from the vendors and exhibitors, even though they took a deficit, they like this. They believe in this idea of Tabletop Game Expo. They believe in me and this organization, and they want to support and would like to come and please do it again. And so that's the support I needed to feel like, okay, we can do this. We can do this. Let's do this. Let's aim for another Tabletop Game Expo 2020. And then the pandemic happened. So we actually had to cancel, but we only canceled in February of 2020, and the event was supposed to be in April. So in this video, I would like to share with you our planning of the event and everything we had, well, not everything, but I want to share about how we planned it to be and our thoughts and how it works and all of this, so that you get a glimpse at what it could have been and hopefully what it will become the next time we run it. So Tabletop 2019 is over, and I'd love to say the planning of 2020 started right away, and that's kind of true. Right after an event, you get a lot of feedback, and you should take on as much feedback as you can, and we did, and we wrote down testimonials to remember our thoughts around this, so that when we did plan for next year, we have our thoughts with us from last year. And so we did, and that is the start of planning next year, is to take in this and process this and work toward it. But the real planning and meeting with the organizing team once a month and starting all of this work really didn't start until probably sometime after summer. So during that summer period, so it was in April and up until the end, a lot of the work that I did was around setting up an organizing crew, team that is going to help me organize this thing. So I asked the previous year if they want to join, and some said that they would love to, and some said no, not this time. And I'm really glad they did. You might think that, okay, it's going to be hard finding new people. How's that going to work? But I mean, you got to be honest here. And if you're trying to get people on board in a team who don't want to be there, it's not going to turn out good anyway. And I want to keep having this great relationship with people. And I want them to remember, you know, being part of this team and organizing this event as a really fun and great experience in their lives. So I'm really glad they told me. And what a lot of them ended up saying, well, most of the people who said, actually I think all of them, and everyone who said that they didn't want to join the next organizing crew still said, but we're happy to help in other ways. And so there was no bad relationship going on. Everyone had enjoyed themselves and thought that was fun. It was just a level of commitment and helping out for the coming events. So I had to find some new crew members, and as I've said in my previous video, for me that's a lot about sharing my passion. Another thing I did for the next year was I asked some of the people who were already on the crew and asked them, do you know anyone you think would be interested in joining? And they ended up getting 2 people through other people who I hadn't known before, but who someone came in and said, you know, I vouch for this person is great, and I think we should ask that person. And then we did that, and we got them in on the crew, which is just excellent. And then we got the crew together, we set up, as you know from the last video, I've learned to understand the value of hoodies and t-shirts, so we got them ordered. We planned, we started meeting once a month and we planned. And so let's talk a little bit about the differences. One of the main differences for 2020 versus 2019 was tournaments. We had a few in 19, but not a lot. For 2020, we planned to have a lot. We wanted to fill the space we had, and we figured, let's do tournaments, see how it works out, and it turned out really amazing. The biggest tournament that we were able to collaborate with was a Warhammer 40K tournament that ended up being called SLG Championship. And I had a great connection with a guy from one of the clubs, and he actually ended up partnering with another club in Stockholm because it was so big. So we ended up booking 80 players, so 40 tables, which for Sweden measurements is quite a big tournament, to play Warhammer 40K. And we had, there's a lot of talking going on, how much space does that need? Because we had a certain size tables, but as you probably know, when you play Warhammer, the boards you need, the table size you need is really big. So the club had to come in and actually organize the tops, the boards to put on the tables that were smaller so that it would be big enough. So we had to plan that. We had to look at all the sizes and see how that would work. And we ended up having a plan, and we discussed price and found a way to make it work. And with time, and this is one of the main things that I had to change my mindset and our planning when it came to the event. Tournaments in Warhammer take time. It's not like you can do one round in an hour. I think one round was about 3 hours. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so to do, 5 rounds, that's 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours, split over 2 days. That's a lot to fit that in. And you need breaks, and you need a lunch break, and you need to plan for all this. So we weren't even able to do it in 2019 because we were like, this is our times, we're opening, this time closing, this time nothing else. But for 2020, in that collaboration with them, I realized I learned about their needs and how it really can't work. It has to be. He did offer, and we did discuss to do some mini variant of a tournament, but it wouldn't be so good. And I was able to find a way with them as well where we actually could open up earlier for tournament participants only and close down the whole event except for the tournaments at the end of the first day to allow them to do these tournaments properly, which is what they wanted, and we were able to find a solution. So that was really great, and we had a plan. And just to give you a sense, in November, the event is in April, in November we had planned a launch. We're going to launch and start allowing people to sign up and pay to get their tickets for the tournament, and in that ticket price was entrance to the event on a Thursday. And my contact person, one of his colleagues accidentally leaked that this was happening 2 days before, so on a Tuesday. So on the Tuesday, people found out about it, but then, we took that down, and then on Thursday we did the official, we're opening, launch, check it out, this is going to be so cool. If you want to sign up, do it here. That information. 4 days later, by Sunday, it was sold out. There was no tickets left. How cool was that? So people were so excited to come, and they signed up, and it became a big thing. And my contact person was excited and happy, but also stressed out because he was like, oh shit, they needed to book a few places. They wanted teams to be able to come in from some other countries they had talked to already, and they wanted more tables. And, how can we solve this? I ended up finding a way with them to get a few more tables. So they ended up having 90 spaces, I think. I'm not sure about the numbers, but 10 more spaces for them. That's 5 more tables. The word was out, and the marketing from this was amazing. People knew about this because it's happening, and it's a big tournament, and people wanted to join. And even if you didn't get a ticket, you couldn't join the tournament as a participant, people wanted to come and see it. Seeing rows and rows of Warhammer tables with armies of these miniatures that some of them have painted and in different ways, that's really cool. I understand why you'd want to be there. The hub, the center of Warhamming community would be at my event, and people wanted to be there with them. So that was really exciting and really fun. That thing kind of snowballed. That became our big draw, at least from the start. To give an example, how that grew. Suddenly he was contacting me saying, actually, this big podcaster wants to live stream one of the tables in the tournaments at all time and do live commentary. And I was like, that's so cool. Of course we should do that. That's amazing. And so we started planning for that, and I was able to give a bit more space. These guys got a lot more space than they had expected, which turned out great for everyone, actually. So that was one, and that was the biggest tournament. But we had other tournaments as well. We were in this now. And so one of the ones that I'm really excited about is X-Wing. And so for those of you who don't know, Star Wars, the X-Wing is one of the ships. And when you play this, you buy the miniatures pre-painted and they look amazing. And the tables, the cloths they put down look like space. So just visually this game is beautiful, but it's also really fun. It's also a 2-player game. And they wanted to, so the club was called Vampas, they wanted to run a tournament, and I was happy to work with them, and we were planning this as well. Vampire the Eternal Struggle, the card game, they wanted to run a tournament where we're setting up to run with a club called Stars. We're setting up to run as the Swedish championship of 4 different board games. Let me double check which they were. It was Carcassonne, King Domino, Ticket to Ride, and Klask. And so we're gonna do all of these cool tournaments and competitions in addition to all the things we had planned and had done previous year and were improving as well for this year. Still had the trade show and the stage. We still had lots of RPG sessions signed up with lots of clubs running those as well. Another difference we had for 2020 was we were planning a family section. So more kids fun. Not like you would leave your kids, because you can't take on that responsibility unless you have hired someone who can do that, but we did not. So not like come and leave your kid, but doing things that are fun with kids as well. And we noticed that for 2019, someone came up to us and can we just have some pens and paper so our kids can draw? Like that was like such a simple thing. And like, okay, well, kids actually don't need a lot of things, but if we can do something for them, that would be great. And so we're thinking of getting in some carpets to make like a cozy section with giant pillows. We were getting some big, like giant size version of games. I think it was Carcassonne, which we wanted to play on the floor with kids as well. I mean, you probably need to be a few years to play the game, but if you have family members, kind of like, sometimes in parks you see giant chess. We were planning to set that up, but with a board game such as Carcassonne that we could play with giant pieces on the floor. We also had a woman come in who liked to do pärlplattor. I'll put a picture in so you understand what I'm talking about. Also a great fun activity to do with kids. And so we're thinking about all these things. We would love to get Lego in there because, of course, from kids to grown-ups, Lego is so much fun. You probably see from my shelf that I'm into Lego as well. So we had these plans. We wanted to do a family area as well. I'm probably missing some things. A Song of Ice and Fire, another miniature gamers game, wanted to run a tournament as well. So we had all these things planned. It was going to be so much fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And in addition to all of the activities and everything in the venue, one of our biggest problems from 2019 was we didn't have enough visitors. So we actually set up an intense marketing plan, and we started using Instagram in the spring and had a picture every day, which is, I don't know, insane. Like, I think we started in December actually. And I've never done anything like that before. So that's a lot of learning for me, and to see if we can build a following and help reach so people know about this so they can come and enjoy our amazing event, right? And then February. And there's a pandemic and people are dying, and of course we had to cancel. And that's the way it is. I was very sad. I'd like to say devastated, but not for long. I worked through that quite fast actually. So I got through it probably in a day or two and was like, okay, well, we have all these plans. It's not wasted. We'll just use it for next time, next year. I was thinking 2021. We're not there, it's not yet, but we can use these plans and we'll use them for the next time we run this. There was one other event we actually then started planning for last year for 2020. And that I'm gonna get more into in the next video, where I tell you about Nördarnas julmarknad, which is the ultimate geek bazaar. Thank you for listening. Please comment any questions, any thoughts. I'd love to hear it and talk to you about these things. And follow me on my journey in uniting geeks. Bye. And I will tell you more about that in the next video. Thank you for following along on my journey in uniting geeks. Bye.